What I'm about to tell you should concern every single person who has protested, plans on protesting, or basically talks ill of, Donald Trump and his administration. Trump's State Department just classified 4 foreign groups as terrorist organizations, like legitimately, okay? And one of these groups does not belong on that list because they don't participate in terroristic activities. That makes you think, why would the Trump administration label an organization as terrorist if they aren't terroristic? Well, in this instance, the group's name is basically the reason. I mean, that's literally the reason is the group's name. So 4 groups in Europe were just labeled as foreign terrorist organizations. Three of them have track records of bombings, shootings, explosive attacks in Greece and Italy. Okay. And those cases are well documented by European police and press. Okay. But one of those groups, the fourth group called Antifa Ost, is different. I mean, they are only accused of street-level assaults against neo-Nazis and the far-left extremists in Germany. Still crimes, I understand that, but different than, bombing and shooting, right? So I wouldn't label them terrorists, right? Whatever, maybe a gang, not even that. So why does this matter? Trump needs an enemy, like Hitler needed an enemy to grow more powerful. Look, enemies are used as leverage in the political game. I mean, that's 100%. I mean, and he has used the word Antifa as a political weapon already. I mean, he has labeled protesters, journalists, any activists, or random people in the street as Antifa without any evidence. Like, Antifa. Like, oh, you don't agree with me? Antifa. Like, no, am I Antifa? I mean, I'm definitely anti-fascist, but I mean, like you can't just call somebody Antifa and say they're part of some, terrorist organization. I mean, that's not how this works. And it's constantly done with zero evidence. Time and time again, federal law enforcement leaders, including the FBI, have made it clear that Antifa inside of the United States is not a structured, centralized organization. It's a broad, loose movement made up of like small autonomous groups and individuals. It's really just an ideology, basically. You know what? I'm going to be bold here. All right. I mean, Antifa basically means anti-fascist. Okay. And I would like to believe that 99.9% of Americans would be labeled as Antifa, because I like to think that 99.9% of Americans are anti-fascists. Ask yourself this question. Are you pro-Hitler? If your answer was no, congratulations, you are a member of Antifa. I think they actually sell membership badges on Etsy. So now for the first time, the US government can point to a foreign group with Antifa in its name and say, look, Antifa is a designated terrorist organization. And even though that group operates, I think they operate in Germany. Yeah, Germany. And has zero verified operational connections to protesters in the streets in the United States, the label alone changes the political landscape, period. Okay, this is where the danger really comes in for just any average day American. When a president who has a long history of calling his critics Antifa suddenly has, an official terrorism designation to point to. I mean, it becomes much easier to blur the lines between a foreign group and a domestic dissent. You don't need to claim a real connection. You just need to claim a threat. You just need to point to a government list and say, see, Antifa is a global terrorist network now. I mean, it's ridiculous, but it's actually really easy for him to do now. And this is why today's move matters so much. All right. It sets a precedent on how policy expands first. I mean, you label a small European group, then you expand the definition. I mean, then you label it more broadly. And eventually it becomes, politically convenient to suggest that domestic protesters are part of something international. I mean, even if they aren't, I mean, history shows that governments don't always overstep their authority all at once, right? It's not like they just come out and they just declare like, I am now your overlord or whatever they would say, right? I mean, that's not how this works, okay? They do it basically in steps, okay? I mean, they do it by creating legal foundations that can be stretched later. And designating a foreign group with Antifa in its name gives this administration a brand new foundation it has never had before. Now, it's important to let everybody know that I don't condone violence in any form, but I mean, these German Antifa oaths are not terrorists, okay? But it is important to recognize the scale, the context, and I mean, the way these designations can be used politically, especially after years of the president calling anyone who disagrees with him Antifa, which is why transparency matters. Now more than ever, actually, because if the government is going to use terrorism designations in new ways, the public deserves to understand exactly how those designations are made and exactly how they could be applied once the attention turns back home. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to stay connected and informed to the stories that matter, the people that matter, and most importantly, the truth. The thing that is so hard to find right now. And just so you guys know, I do the best that I can to answer the comments. So I really hope to see you guys in there.